back to another episode of Love and Gratitude. I'm very happy because I have already 72 subscribers on YouTube. Welcome to my channel. I'm very happy that you're here and I'm super excited. You know, my friend always says, Ruki, don't look at the numbers. Don't be too much focused on numbers because it's just a number. But I'm always so happy when I have a new subscriber, you know. It's just so exciting. And yeah, thank you for being here, by the way. Welcome. I'm Ruki and I live here in the south of Germany, but I'm Turkish. My parents are from Turkey. And my grandpa immigrated to Germany in 1961 or something, like in the 60s, okay? I'm not sure, but I was born here, so I grew up bilingual, and yeah, just Turkish and German. And 2 days ago, I was coming back home, I was driving, and usually I don't listen to music, like I only listen to frequency music, and to podcasts or just anything but music, because music is harmful for your health and for your frequency, for your energy. But on that day I was in the mood for music, so I put on Spotify shuffle, the shuffle, and then there was just a random song and it was Turkish. That song was Turkish, and I was like, oh cool, and I was listening to that song, and you know what, a very weird random wave of emotions hit me because it was Turkish and I didn't listen to Turkish songs for a long time. But I'm Turkish, and I speak Turkish at home. But it was so weird because what I was thinking? It was so sad actually, because I drifted so far away from my own culture, from my own language. I mean, my dad, he always says, Ruki, never forget where you come from. But because this is my original, where I come from, my original ethnicity, Turkey and Turkish culture. But unfortunately, being born and being raised here in Germany, you drift away from your own culture. And especially when you don't have many Turkish friends or when you don't hang out with Turkish people, my parents, they don't really, they are quite conservative, but they're not really addicted to their own culture. We live very, very isolated from Turkish culture, I would say it that way, yeah. We're Turkish, and of course our culture is very important to us, but it's not the only thing that matters, because the Turkish culture is not really healthy. Sometimes it can be toxic. So my parents, they are well developed, I would say, even though my father is sometimes very still like old school, but still we are not that. I'm grateful that my family is not that very toxic, like being rooted in that culture, especially in that old school culture. If you're Turkish or if you're Arab or anything else than German, then you probably know, because some older people, they are still so addicted to their own rules of their culture and what they have learned from their parents in the 90s or before, because it's very old school and it's not just that way anymore, and it's not the way we handle things now. Because back then everything was different, and I understand, because everything was much more dangerous and more cultural and everything, but it's not like that anymore. And when I was listening to that song, I noticed that I got so far away from my own culture that I would consider myself as Turkish, but I don't live Turkish in a Turkish way, even though I'm Turkish and I'm very proud of being a Turkish girl, but it's just that when you are living here in Germany, when you study in a German university, when you have only German friends, it's good that I have now Turkish friends also, but before I had only German friends. And I grew up in a little village, And just with Germans, I had only one Arab friend, and we were just friends for a few years. I mean, for a certain time, but also we were always surrounded by Germans, and I was working in a very traditional German restaurant, so. I grew up with Germans and with the German language, and I speak better German than Turkish, and I just know everything, almost everything. But unfortunately, it's just like we are not really Turkish anymore. That old type of Turkish, and which is also good in a certain way, but also bad because Turkish culture is so colorful. I don't know how to describe it, but it's just so beautiful and so colorful that it's very unfortunate to not being a part of that anymore. And unfortunately also I haven't visited Turkey for 2 years because last year I just couldn't go because of some time problems, like time management, because I was working, and then I went to some cities here in Germany because of some things, and I also went to Poland for my vacation. I think for 10 days, I don't remember, but that's why I just couldn't manage to go to Turkey, unfortunately. But my grandparents, they still live there, and I have so many uncles there and so many family members and friends, which I would like to visit as soon as possible. That's why I really want to go to Turkey this year. And not just the people not just the people I miss, but also the colors, the smell, the air. Turkey just smells different. If you've been to Turkey before, then it smells like car and ocean, like when you go to Antalya. And I also miss the cats there because, as you know, Turkey and especially Istanbul is known for its cats. And, I just miss so much, like the food and my friends and everything there, and the beaches. And, not just those things, but the feeling of being in your home country. I grew up bilingual, and which is a gift. I would consider it as a gift because I'm very grateful. So I know I grew up with 2 languages and with 2 cultures. But I was also, not really certain about where I belong to. And I was always torn between 2 cultures, 2 languages, and two countries, and two types of people, because Turkish people are so much more different than German people. And I'm still torn between those countries, I would say, and between those cultures, because when you grow up here in Germany, especially here in the south of Germany, we were very far away from Turkish people. I just had my uncles and my aunties here in Germany, but in bigger cities just like Cologne, I don't know how you pronounce it in English, but Köln or Berlin, there is a bigger Turkish community, and you have more possibilities and more chances to be a part of a bigger Turkish community, or just to not forget about your culture, because I kind of forgot about my culture, and not just me, but the people around me, who were also Turkish, who grew up also bilingual within a Turkish family. And when I was younger, I was not really a fan of Turkish music or Turkish culture or Turkish people, because they're still toxic. I mean, Turkish culture can be toxic because of the old mentality, and because of the parents of us and of us younger generations, and because they grew up with toxic parents with that old mindset, with that old mentality, because they came here in a very, very hard time. Like, they were going through so much hard times and hardship. So, which I understand why they are thinking that way. But, it's just that we don't live that way anymore. Everything is much more easier, and everything is accessible now. I mean, if you know the language, my grandma still doesn't speak a German language, and my dad came here when he was 5, so he knows the language very well. But my mother, she came here when she was 19, so she doesn't speak German that well. But we all grew up here, so we speak German fluent, and as I said, I speak German better than Turkish, and I would consider the German language as my first language. Because I don't speak Turkish that well. Even I speak Turkish, but not that as perfect as German. So yeah, please don't judge me. But that's okay, I mean, I know many languages. I know 4 languages, and I'm learning Japanese now because I love anime, and I just love Japanese culture and the country, and I wish to go there soon. But yeah, coming back to the topic, so it was always hard. It was always difficult for me because in that village where I grew up, you were never a German. Even though you grew up here, you were born here, you were never a German. And when I'm here in Germany, I am always a Turkish person. But when I'm in Turkey, I am a German. They call me a German because I came here from Germany. So you never know where you belong to. And for me, especially, I don't know where my home is. And people say, "Oh, your home is where your loved ones are." But I'm not, I love my family, but I'm not a family person. I mean, I am, but I'm also not. Like, I'm totally fine with being alone or being alone somewhere in another country, just going somewhere without my family or friends. So I'm like 50-50. So, I don't really know what country I can call home, really, like, or my home country, because I know I don't belong to Germany. I mean, and before, I used to hate Germany because of the discrimination and racism. Because, I had a very bad experience with Germans here in my village, and not just here in my village, but also here in the south of Germany. I would definitely say that they are more racist or discriminating than in the north of Germany, or in the bigger cities, because in the bigger cities, like, there are so many cultures, there are so many people with so many ethnicities, but here in little villages, it's different because then you're the only Turkish family and everyone is like hating you because you look different, just because you have darker hair and darker eyes. And it's just that you don't look like them, so and how children are, they can be cruel sometimes, and they can be really honest and direct, and even when they grew up with that mentality from their parents and grandparents, because their grandparents, they never accepted the immigrants from Turkey or from any other country. I don't know how it was with Italians, because Italians, they also came here in the 60s to rebuild Germany, as you know, after the Second War. Just like my grandpa came here. I mean, he decided to stay here because of the economy and because of the money and because of the opportunities he had here instead of in Turkey, because Turkey was not developed that well. So he decided to stay here for a few years alone, and my grandma raised her children in Turkey alone and going through super hard times and just being alone there, and very dangerous for a woman alone in that place, in that village, And so my grandpa brought them here after a few years, and then my dad grew up here, and then he married my mom, and we were born, etc. And we were always a part of this country, and my dad was working here, my mom was working here, I am working here. I mean, we're all contributing to this country, to this economy, and we're all like immigrated, and even I am like the second generation with migration background because of my grandpa and then my dad and everything. But you will never be 100% a part of this community, because you will never be 100% accepted as German or as a German person, or because I also don't drink alcohol, or I am not participating their celebrations or their Christmas or Eastern whatever they have, but it's just that I work here, and I went to school, and my brothers and everything, and we're just definitely immigrated, we're migrated, and so there is no reason to hate us, but unfortunately it's still like this, that older people especially, because because of their old mentality, because they could never accept that there are now other people in your country, even though we helped this country and we helped you people, and it doesn't matter what kind of jobs we worked or my grandparents worked, but they contributed to this country, to this economy, and that is the important thing, and not who we are or how we look like. And I was getting bullied a lot. I got bullied a lot, like when I was a child, and even though when I was a teenager, because of being the way I am or looking the way I look. And now I know that I'm totally fine and I'm beautiful, but back then I was hating myself just because of the way I was looking, and just because they were bullying me because of the way I look or because of the way I speak, because my family, we were all living in the same house, and they were speaking Turkish in that house. So I grew up learning German in school or in kindergarten, and that's why my German was really bad, I couldn't speak German properly, but that's why they were bullying me also, because of my language, which I couldn't control, because obviously I am growing up bilingual, and nobody in my family took the time to teach me German, like later my dad did, but back then as a child I couldn't have the possibility or the chances, and I was not caring at all about anything, because I was a child, and a child only wants to play and only wants to enjoy life, and just like be present, and go out and play and meet friends, and that's it. But I was not caring about school or anything, or grades or my language. The only important thing was just to understand or to know where my friend lives, or the phone number of my friend, so we can meet later in the afternoon after school to play. But as you know, we went through a lot, but that made me the person I am today. But what I want to really talk about today is, or I am already talking about this, but that I still don't know if I'm German or Turkish. So, when I'm abroad, people are asking me, where are you from? And then I'm like, oh, I don't know, like, what should I say? Am I from Germany? Am I from Turkey? Or like, where do I live currently? Because I also used to live in Spain for 2 months only, unfortunately. But, you just don't know where you're from, and and it's a super difficult question, but now I say I'm Turkish. Oh, and also, before I was very I didn't know if I should say that I'm from Turkey, because I didn't know if people are going to bully me for this. So I was really desperate, and I was really frustrated, and I didn't know what to say. So I used to say I'm from Germany and I'm from Stuttgart, even though I don't look German, and they knew that Germans, they're always asking me, where are you from? You look so different, or where are your parents from? And always they say, you look so exotic, where are you from? And I'm like, excuse me, what? I look exotic? Like, what is this? What are they saying? Oh my God, like, where is the respect, you can't say this to someone, or imagine you say this to a black person, like, you look so exotic, where are you from? Oh my God, like, this is so disrespectful in my opinion, and this is so racist. Like, you can say, where are your parents from? This is okay for me, because obviously I grew up here. But after 2012, so many refugees came here, so I kind of understand, but also I don't, because I speak German perfect, and And sometimes when I'm on a phone call with Germans, and they see me later and they're like, oh my god, I didn't know that you're from somewhere else because you speak German so perfect. And I'm like, wait, what? Excuse me again? Like, I grew up here, I was born here, and they are still saying things like that. And it's just not surprising me anymore. But it's just time to change now, because the world is evolving, and there's so many more people now from different countries and from different cultures, and so people should start to accept and surrender. That's it. And so I still don't know what to say if I'm from Germany or from Turkey. And as I said, here in Germany, I'm not a German. I will never be a German. But in Turkey, I'm also a German. I will never be a Turkish person in Turkey. So I don't know what to consider myself as. I'm just Rukiye, and and I also don't know which place to call home. Right now, my house, the home is a different place because I still don't know where I belong to, but my house is here in the south of Germany, where my parents are, and I live in the house of my parents. For now, but later when I am able to travel the world, then I will probably find my home. I'm sure about this because there are so many countries I want to travel to and I want to visit. And I'm sure that I will find the perfect place for me, and because I also want to leave Germany after a university. So then I will go and see the cities and see the countries and see the people, see different people. But what I was thinking, that when I want to settle down one day and when I want to get married and when I want to have children one day, I don't know where to live actually, because many people there are asking me if I want to go back to Turkey, which is a good option, but not the best option in my opinion, because of the economy in Turkey. Maybe because it's going really bad, and so I wouldn't like to live in Turkey, especially for my children, because I wouldn't like them to grow up in that kind of environment, and because of the people and because of the mentality, because Turkey is not the Turkey from 10 years ago. Unfortunately, it's getting worse and worse because of the economy crisis, and because of that, people are getting insane. Really, it's it's not everyone, but many people, and especially young people, because of the hard times they go through right now, they have a different mentality, and that's why I want to decide first when I travel the world, and but I don't know if I want to do this to my children, also to grow up bilingual again, because when I speak German and Turkish, and when we again live in another country, then I have to learn that language, for example Japanese, and then we live in Japan, and then my children, they will grow up trilingual, and I don't even know who I'm going to marry, so it will be difficult, definitely. So I have to decide wisely, and I have to choose this choose wisely and be very careful with what I want to do with my future and with my children's future, where I want them to grow up. I'm very grateful that I had the opportunity to grow up here in Germany because of the possibilities, because I know exactly that I wouldn't have the same possibilities, the same chances I have here as in Turkey, because Turkey is super going downhill. And I'm very grateful that my grandpa came here, even though I had a super hard time, and I still have super hard time because I don't belong here, and I know this with my whole heart that I don't belong to this place, and with these people, I just can't, because I need to live in a warm country, because in Turkey in Turkish we say sıcak ülkenin sıcak insanları, which means warm country, warm people who live in a warm country, they have warm hearts. So I believe in that, and I also have I like warm weather, I have a warm heart, and I want to live in a warm country with these kind of people, you know, because here in Germany it's not like this. And if you are in Germany, you know. And you know, nothing against Germans. I love Germans and I love Germany because Germany has so many beautiful things, you know, the nature and the possibilities, the opportunities, and everything else. And so the quality of life, you know, but also I must admit that it's getting more expensive, and it's it's getting more difficult to live here. So yeah, you know, and so that's why I still don't know where I want to live one day, and I don't know what to consider myself as. But for now, I'm Turkish. I'm Rukiye and I call myself Turkish. What do you call yourself, you know? I'm wondering, are you also bilingual? Like, did you also grow up bilingual with two cultures? And do you have a hard time? And also, you know, it was also very difficult because of my name and because of the way I look, as I said. But people, they couldn't pronounce my name, so they were always like, what? Rukiye? No, it's Rukiye, but that's why I needed to choose a nickname. That's why people are calling me Ruki now, or I am calling myself Ruki because of the Germans, because they couldn't pronounce, and not just because of the Germans, but because of everyone from abroad, because they couldn't pronounce my name. But I love my name actually, but I used to hate my name because of the fact they couldn't pronounce it, and I was always like, why, you know? And I was so full of hatred, like when I was younger, because I was going through really bad things, and then I was always identified with my ego because I didn't know and I was not conscious at all. I was acting in a very unconscious way, and I was always hating and yeah, just judging myself and others. And my grandpa, I was always saying, why did he come here? What was here? You know? But now I know that everything happens for a reason, and everything has its own reason, and I'm sure about this. And now everything makes sense because I'm more conscious now, and I'm very happy because this is a gift, you know. And I know that I couldn't have the possibilities, the opportunities I have here when I grew up in Turkey, and so that's why I'm very happy. And are you happy, by the way? Are you happy with the way you live and with where you live, with the place? Or do you also want to go abroad, or do you also want to move to another place one day? Like, I'm wondering. And you know, I'm still wondering, like, I also ask myself always, who are you? You know, I'm always asking myself, Ruki, who are you? Or who am I? Because sometimes I really don't know who I am, because, you know, I'm part Turkish and part German, but it's just so much more, you know. And it's just a label that I'm putting on myself again, because I know that I'm much more than this. But you know, when someone is asking, or at the end it's just a simple song, like that feeling that I had when I was listening to that Turkish song, like, who am I, you know? And it's a super difficult question. And again, as I said, it's just a label. But at the end of the day, what do you feel? Like, what is your heart telling you? And what is what is the feeling? And I must admit that I miss Turkey so much, and I miss Turkish culture, you know? I know I'm Turkish, but I'm so lost in this German world, in this German country, because I speak German every day. I'm with German friends, you know. I go to German university, I go to German shops, and everything is German, you know. And my phone is in German, everything is German. We speak German here at home. So I was so far away from Turkish culture and Turkish language, that I was so overwhelmed by these feelings when I was listening to that Turkish song, because I love Turkish so much and it's still within me. But you know, what is my heart telling me? I don't know. And it's also like very difficult to understand where you belong to and who you really are, because at the end of the day, does it really matter, you know? like who you are or where you come from, because you're a beautiful human and you have a beautiful heart and you're a beautiful human being. And no matter how you look like if you look more Turkish or more German, it doesn't matter. What matters is that you have a beautiful, pure heart and that you don't act racist or discriminating, but that you're always friendly and kind to others, and even to someone who can't speak German properly, because it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, only the heart matters. And so I'm wondering, what do you think about this? What would you consider yourself as? Like, where are you from? Or where do you come from truly in your heart? What do you think? What do you feel? And it's a good topic to reflect on, I must admit. And I'm still wondering, who am I? Ruki, who are you? I mean, I have a Turkish name, I have a Turkish heart, I have Turkish hair, Turkish eyebrows. I look so Turkish, but I grew up here in Germany and I'm more identified with German culture instead of Turkish culture. And yeah, I'm acting more German than Turkish, I would say. Even though sometimes my Turkish temper is taking over, but that's okay, it's like 50-50 or sometimes 80-20. And yeah, so I'm wishing you a beautiful day. Thank you for listening, and take care of yourself and stay with love and gratitude.